Welcome to my review of the D-Arch Charizard. This is a fan favorite since the first generation, and there are plenty that have been looking to get this wannabe dragon into their collection in action figure form. Let's see if this figure has what it takes to meet those needs. So how's the sculpt on Charizard? Well, it looks like Charizard alright. Really no issues at all. Only problem is that the articulation on the tail kind of breaks up the natural looking design of Charizard, but it is what it is. You have to take the good with the bad. Also, there is a problem with Charizard's jaw, which doesn't look too great to me and a few others. It looks out of place, almost like it's too big. But other than that, the sculpt for Charizard is great. All of the indents on the face, for the head, horns look nice. It's the paint that's a bit of a problem. The paint overall on Charizard is decent. You can see some examples of, there we go, one of the issues of Charizard already happening. Anyway, you can sort of see on the head, there is a nice spray there, and the wings look nice too. It's not just one color of blue, it varies. But unfortunately, like the rest of the Pokemon D-Arts line, Charizard looks a bit chalky. You can see some clumps of paint here and there. See on the inside here. The seam lines definitely show from the molding process. All throughout Charizard. Why am I showing him upside down? The wings have a nice change in color from a darker orange to a lighter orange. Again, my lighting is not doing Charizard that much justice. So, the paint overall, what is applied to Charizard is nice, but it still looks a bit chalky. The tongue and the inner mouth are also painted too. And the eyes look to be decals. So good on them for that. One of the very, very cool things about Charizard is the fire tail tip. The fire piece. Benefit of that now. And as you can see, it's translucent. Very nifty. And also, as usual, put a laser pointer through it, and it doesn't work out too well. But it's nice. It doesn't work too well in this light. But it's very, very translucent. So, that's pretty neat. So the sculpt on Charizard, it's rocking. Looks like Charizard. Kind of hard to screw that up. The paint, the apps look great. The shading, the different variances in the paint, they look great. But the quality of the paint, it could be a bit better. Charizard's design does not restrict articulation at all. Normally, you can see him move around in the anime and in the video games, the different sprites of the 3D models. But unfortunately, the D-Arts leaves just a tad bit to be desired. So I'll start with the head, go down to the feet, then work the tail. So the mouth. It is on, as I showed earlier, a hinge joint. Opens and closes. Nothing to write home about there. The tongue slightly moves, like it's on a swivel, though I don't think that's supposed to move. I think that's just kind of like a accidental thing, so I wouldn't play with it too much. The actual head is attached to the neck on a swivel hinge combo, so you can get some awesome movement there. And both pieces of the neck sculpt are attached on a ball joint. So any articulation you would want out of the head or the neck, you're definitely going to get. Next up, the wings. they are attached to Charizard's back on a ball joint, as you can kind of see right in there. So you can get any sort of movement you would want out of that. You can pull the wings down, though you can't do it both at the same time. You can move them up. And on two sections of the wings, there are hinge joints. So you can move the wings around a lot. Unfortunately, I have read reports of these coming loose. Even a friend of mine that had Charizard said that this wing was super, super loose, and I'm tapping it and it's going down, so that's not a big help. But just be careful with it. Charizard's shoulders are on a ball joint, so no restriction of the articulation there. There is a bicep swivel. The elbow is a swivel hinge combo on both of them, so you can get a lot of range of movement out of that. And the hands are attached to the wrist on a ball joint. Neato there. The legs on Charizard are attached to the thighs, or the hips, I'm sorry, on a ball joint. And the, not sure what this would be called, the knee, I guess that would be. Right below the knee, it's attached on a ball joint, so you can get, help if I show it on camera, you can get some movement out of that, and the feet are attached on ball joints. So in the leg department, Charizard isn't doing too many crazy poses with articulation, and that is pretty much the only restrictive part about it. The rest of Charizard looks and moves really nice. The tail. As you can see, I'm missing a tip because this thing won't stay attached. But anyway, as you would come to expect from, say, a Monster Arts release, or, see what I'm talking about? Mewtwo, all ball joints in the tail. You can get a lot of crazy poses with the tail. Though, over time, the back sculpt here at the bottom may become off-center, like mine has over time, so it kind of looks weird, but it's not that big of a deal. But this tail tip will not stay attached. Slightest bump gets knocked off. So, the articulation on Charizard, it's fine and dandy. I mean, there's nothing really else you could probably get out of Charizard except for a possible ab crunch, and even then the aesthetics of the design may go out the window. And there's the tail tip again. The legs leave a little bit to be desired, but overall, if you're looking for articulation, Charizard's pretty great. The rest of the D-Arts line, the Pokemon D-Arts, Charizard comes with a few nifty accessories. First and foremost, the infamous Pokeball base and Stage Act arm. Also comes with a claw. Now, on its own, it's pretty difficult to get Charizard to fly with this weak claw because of the design. I believe this is just from a Stage Act 4 or Stage Act 3, I'm not sure which. But, yeah, this little thing is not going to support Charizard's weight. However, never done this before, so this should be an interesting experiment. I have read you can get, well, you can get the claw underneath the back of Charizard's wings, and that will support him to fly, but apparently I can't do it. So yay for that. Also, Charizard comes with an attack. What attack would this be? Well, I guess it's supposed to be Flamethrower. And this is it. Kind of small. But, like the tail tip, it is indeed translucent. Looks to be made of the same plastic. And laser pointer does catch it and make it very nice. Really amplifies the red there. Also alongside that, you get another Stage Act arm. Yay! Can never have too many of these. So there is a hole in the base of the Flamethrower, attack, and you attach it, like so. And then you coordinate Charizard's mouth to the opening, or the tail end of the attack. And there we go. We have Charizard shooting flame out of his mouth. My only gripe with this is that if that is supposed to be a flamethrower, that's pretty wimpy. I mean, you have the Showa, I think it's 1967 Gamera Revel Tech, and that comes with a real flamethrower. This is just kind of, I guess you could say, an Ember on steroids, but no true complaints aside from the size of the flamethrower effect for the accessories. Way to go, Charizard. As you are probably aware, Charizard is not the only Pokemon D-Arts, and he has a few friends from the Kanto region. Let's start off with the D-Arts Mewtwo, in terms of sizing. And as you can see here, I'd say that's a pretty decent size up. Maybe Charizard should be a little bit bigger, but not too many complaints there. I like it. And now his starter buddies. Let's go with the blue version mascot, Blastoise. Matches up pretty well, I'd say. They're close to the same height. Blastoise bulkier, Charizard taking up more in terms of wingspan. So we'll fit in with Blastoise. And then the green, leaf green version mascot, my personal favorite, Venusaur. Yeah, Venusaur is a shrimp. Doesn't work out too well. Venusaur is supposed to be huge, like 6'7". And even if you get Venusaur to stand up on his hind legs, yeah, no, that's not 6'7". So you're going to have to work a little bit to get Venusaur to look well with your Charizard, but no serious complaint there. So overall, Charizard definitely does fit in well with the rest of the line. So, get Charizard, Bass, maybe pick it up used for cheap? Well, I do know one thing. I am not, there's that tail tip again, a large Charizard fan. I like it. I have two shiny Charizards. Well, okay, a shiny Charmander and a shiny Charizard. But I've got to say, aside from this tail tip, Charizard definitely livens up my display. I got him at release and I had him shipped alongside Mewtwo, and I've got to say I'm happy with it. I was expecting a little bit less. Unfortunately, I don't think Charizard is all that he can be. There are a few times where I'm fiddling around with Charizard, and there's just that one particular pose I can't get out of him, but I like him. Charizard is not my first pick for a starter. That tail tip, I'm telling you, the first issue I've ever had was something just compulsively falling off for no reason at all. But anyway, Charizard is not my first pick for a starter, but with the upcoming X and Y, I can definitely say this is a mega addition to anyone's collection if they need a nice looking dragon.